Welcome back to another episode of Let's Go Hunt, back with your daily dose of weaponized Mountain Dew fever dreams. Tonight, Mike Gonzalez here with nothing interesting but a drawing. Dave Packard, who says to always cut towards your body. No, buddy, not your body. Anyway, Sam Alexander, 5, Timothy Treadwell, 0, whatever that means. And brought to you by Unsupervised Children with Knives, I'm Vince H. Tonight on the show, around the campfire, we're talking Colorado primary draw, Sam's glorious tips for conquering Yellowstone and making hippies cry, and a little bit of range day fun with yours truly.
I think that was the best intro that we've ever had.
Dude, I was just floored by that. I'm like, holy shit, we're pretty cool show now. Not really.
Vince got all dark and now he's professional.
Yeah, that was...
This is my I don't feel like talking get up. What is that behind you? Stop that. Oh, wait, is that the guy who got eaten by the bears?
That is Timothy Treadwell right there.
Okay, that's who Timothy Treadwell is.
If I move, man.
If I move my head enough, there's an AK
I like
in
that.
the Alaskan sky.
Oh, he's
If
finally
only
got a gun
Timothy
to
Treadwell
defend
had
himself.
an AK.
Yeah. The thing he really needed was just right there.
Here it is.
Well, I got a video camera. Guess I'll die.
I was telling Mike about that when we went to the range before.
I'd never heard about that before. I didn't know how much
All
of a
the-
dipshit he was.
Well, all the juicy details that we know of, because we don't know that many, but close enough.
I mean, enough that the gory details were pretty gory to me. And now
Oh yeah,
want
because
to
I
see
did
a
tell you
movie.
about the autopsy results. I forgot about that.
I don't know if you did tell me about the. You told me about the autopsy of the bear.
His severed head with like 12 inches of spine still attached.
Yeah,
Or
you told me
it's
about
not-
that
it's
nonsense.
my camera can actually be seen. Well, those are the autopsy
You
results.
told me the autopsy results of like the bear that ate them as well. That
Yeah,
had
like
like
25
12
pounds
to-
of human flesh in its
Yeah.
stomach, and then 12-inch long hairs, which came from the girlfriend in the bear's esophagus.
Too long didn't read what we're getting at is there was two different bears is what Sam was telling me.
Well, it's a theory.
Yeah.
And the theory is based on a lot of the fact that it took at least 6 minutes for him to get killed when, I don't know. That's one theory at least. That it might have been a smaller bear that smacked him first.
Man, can you imagine just that's how you go out? Nothing left of you but your skull and spine.
I don't think
Have you
I don't think he
listened-
minded at the time.
Imagine the autopsy report, like body condition missing.
Yeah.
It wasn't entirely missing. Like
Have
the
you
pilot,
listened?
Partially digested.
the pilot who came in to pick him up, landed and they weren't there on the shore. So he wandered up the hill yelling and they didn't come down. So he's like, I'm going to get the hell out of here. And then he turned around and saw the bear behind him and was like, oh shit. And then he tried to buzz over the camp several times. And on one of the buzz throughs, he vividly remembers looking down and seeing the bear chewing on a human rib cage. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I watched that documentary.
I've
Probably when I was
watched
a little too young.
I've watched a ton of crap about it, but
Nope.
it's an interesting case.
Have you
It is.
listened to the tape when they
That's
were
not the
filming?
that's a recreation. To be fair,
Not the recent one. This is one like that's 15 fucking years old.
that's the people who say that they've heard the real thing say that's not the real thing.
I don't know what the real thing is, so I can't
Those 6
tell
minutes of audio tape.
Mhm. Of when they got killed.
you. Eaten.
Is this a snuff film?
No, it's a snuff audio book.
Oh, it's not audible.
It's a snottable.
It's a snuff song. At any rate,
Anyway.
so he got himself eaten, and I did not get myself eaten. So the joke was, it's like a scoreboard. Sam 5, Timothy Treadwell 0. You
Oh,
just
yeah.
read it out too fast.
No, okay. I read it like it was some kind of like a military alphabet. That's what I was like. What is this nonsense? Sam was talking about like, I don't know, some radio transmitter nonsense before the show, and I completely tuned out, and I thought I had something to do with that. Mesh
Why
network.
that
Yeah, that
completely
was it.
tuned out.
Yeah, that's not my rate. That's not my ham call sign. Anyway, KF0JRL is. That would be Kilo Foxtrot 0 Juliet Romeo Lima, which is really not that Juliet Romeo is just backwards that it pisses me off every single time.
You and my stepdad would be friends. You could.
Except for I don't use mine. I've never transmitted on a ham frequency once because you turn into the local repeater and the stereotypes are true because it's literally an old, there's like, you listen in and it's like, oh crap, there's that sad old man back again talking about his recent surgeries. Click.
You get on the airwaves like SA5TT0. Like, never mind. Now no one gets what I'm saying.
Sato.
So
I just got
anyway,
back. Well, since I've been talking, I might as well just keep talking. Or do somebody else want to talk? I'll talk. I like talking.
That's very true. You are our talker.
is that the opening to your personal, like your memoir?
That's actually how he met his
Memoirs.
wife on
Memoirs. One of them's not going to cover it.
One every 30 years at a minimum.
No shit. I better start writing again then. That's not good. But like fucking George R.R. Martin can't finish my own stories. Oh, that's too true to life. Anyway,
Oh,
no, I did the big old long road trip again. Did not get eaten by bears again. Did not see any bears out in the wild this time. Did go back and see the bears sitting around at the frickin' Discovery Center, the reprobate ones that get locked in jail. And I'm pretty sure one of those sows has made an entire business out of sitting in front of humans and scratching her cooter because that's what she did.
I was going to ask about those bears. Like, why are they in bear jail?
Because they get in trouble. I'm pretty sure. So
all right, you've stolen one too many picnic baskets. You're going to bear jail for a while.
Exactly.
All right. Can you not steal the touristic picnic baskets this time? Okay. And all right, right back into jail, scratching her cooter.
Exactly. They have like each bear has its own story or whatever, and I've never actually read through them. I just know that basically it all lines up to these bears have all gotten in trouble eating garbage way too many times.
So they just live in bear jail now because they're dependent on humans and they can't kill them because Yellowstone?
They not all come from Yellowstone. I think one of them even came from Alaska. It's just I think whatever the like foundation can get their mitts on.
Oh, okay. So so it really is like their last chance.
Yeah, it's like congratulations, you either go to bear jail or we shoot you.
You got addicted to the human crack. Either go to bear jail or die.
Well, I think that so we were both times we went was in the morning because if you get your ticket, it's good for 2 days at the West Yellowstone Discovery Center. Which the first year I thought it was like a fucking movie theater, and then it's like, oh god, it's a damn zoo. We're going. Which is Sam's best tip for Yellowstone. If you want to see grizzly bears, go to the Discovery Center. They're out all day long. Anyway, the two sows they let out, one of them just searches for food, and this other one sits in front of people and scratches herself. I think because the bear is so habituated to humans mean food that it sees humans and goes, all right, where's the food? Give me the food.
Just sitting and waiting for the food.
Y'all got food. And they've
apparently
got
for one of them it's food in there. One of them it's food jail. The other one it's horny jail.
Like, well, she sat there on the ground, grabbed her foot, spread her legs open, and was scratching. It's just like, all right then.
Yeah, and you have to read their stories to discover which is which. It's not what you would expect.
This sow sexually assaulted several campers in the Grand Tetons.
Sexually assaulted.
Hey, the Tetons makes it even better because y'all know what that means in French.
Assaulting the Tetons.
Which, by the way, having a town in Idaho called Tetonia is the equivalent of naming what?
Huh?
Naming a town Tetonia is the equivalent of naming it Booby Land. I wonder if the people who first called it Tetonia knew what Teton meant.
Just saying. They named them the Grand Tetons. I'm fairly sure they knew what it meant.
Well, the French people did. I'm wondering if the people who founded the town of Tetonia knew what Teton meant. Or if they're just like, hey, cool, we live next to these things. And 30 years later, someone's like, you know what that means, right? Like, oh, Oh no.
The Grand Tetons means great tits.
How do you say nice in French?
Noise. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
I should know this
Why should you know it?
because I took French 1 and 2 twice.
I think that's a good reason why
That
you
explains
should
why you don't know it.
So I took French 1 and 2 in high school, and then I took them again in college for the extra credit. It really, because I didn't pay attention in French 1 and 2 in high school, and I actually learned some stuff. Nice. I don't remember.
Nice. Anyway,
Yes.
Nice.
Nice.
So,
Hey
No, they
Siri,
also have a
what's
couple
nice
of
in
both.
French?
oh god.
In French, nice is comme il faut.
Cool.
camouflage?
Camel toe. Komi fu. Komi fu.
I went, okay,
This
fool.
is why I can't do foreign languages. I can't say anything. I can barely. Yeah, whatever.
I think Mr. T hijacked Siri.
Yeah, he did. Komi the fu. Well played.
So they also have a couple of wolf packs there, which are kind of cool, but they just run around in circles. And then a bunch of freaking weirdo ground squirrels that try to escape their enclosure by climbing up the back wall. But the back wall's got like it goes straight up and then it curves in so that they can't climb over the curve. So you watch them, they climb to the top and they hang on as long as they can and they fall off. It's really entertaining.
And then
Didn't
they
notice
try
it last
again
year.
and they go, maybe this time.
Yeah, they climb up and they hang on for dear life and then they fall. Oof. And they try again. And then a whole bunch of birds that can't fly anymore and otters and freaking a bunch of cutthroat trout. Anywho. So that's
why
where you
are
see
they
things
so
the best.
cutthroat?
Because cutthroat trout are like endangered or near to it.
There's still a sport species.
They're sport species, but they're not like I think they are kind of under threat. Because I don't think you can keep them in Colorado.
I will research. Well, that's Colorado state fish.
I'd have to
Also,
actually catch a
but-
fish in order to keep a fish, so
I
I'm
have
just gonna
not-
stay out of this.
Caught a
Every cutthroat trout, every trout's a cutthroat trout if you cut it.
We're just
Anyway,
That's,
don't
that's,
go to
that's, that's below even me. At
Of
least
course it is. That's why I use that tone of voice.
fair.
Don't go to Yellowstone on freaking Memorial Day weekend, by the way.
Yeah, you're such a dingbat.
Hey, I don't. Okay, I don't care about federal holidays. I end up working on most of them.
I know you
didn't look
don't.
at the freaking calendar back when I booked this shit in early March to see that it was Memorial Day weekend until I was there, and then I
See,
looked
that's
at
the
my
best part.
calendar and went, "Son of a bitch! It's Memorial Day weekend." That explains a lot because holy crap, last year was busy. Not as busy as when we went in July. This trip was fucking insane. I sat probably longer. Like so, all right. We got there, cruising to freaking, coming to the South Gate. What long ass drive to get to the South Gate. Feels like it takes forever because it's nothing but trees on both sides. You can't see shit. It's like wow, driving down a freaking like the trench run in Star Wars, but there's nothing but torpedo.
Oh,
Little Old Faithful because it's right there and it's an easy win with the daughter. All right, saw that, cool. Go to the campsite, whatever. Second day, got up in the morning, went to West Yellowstone, went to Mass, went to the Discovery Center, go back to the campsite. She wants to go to Old Faithful again. It's like, oh well, in the afternoon, that's an easy drive. We did it last year. Spent 45 minutes more than I should have on that back and forth because of nothing but people trying to park at one geyser basin and stacking up for miles to get into it. And I wanted to stab somebody. I'm
The best
thinking,
part-
okay, the traffic's really slow. That probably means there's either a fucking buffalo in the road or maybe there's a bear. So I'm going to be patient. Oh, serenity now. Oh no, it's just parking traffic.
The best part is Sam messaging us and going, "Oh, it's Memorial Day weekend, and I'm in Yellowstone."
Because I didn't freaking know it until I got down to Old Faithful that day and looked around and went, son of a bitch, it's a Memorial Day, isn't it?
That's why we
Yep.
check.
I have made a bad decision.
And then sat in freaking a bunch more traffic on the way back home and was so pissed off that I had to sit there and just freaking breathe and drink a beer. Otherwise, I was going to pack up my shit and leave that day. But I didn't.
While you were driving through there, or
Well, thank you. It was very entertaining for us.
yeah,
I wish I could have drank a beer while I was driving through there, but there was a freaking park ranger in front of me the whole time.
ask him if he wants one because I guarantee he does.
Yeah.
Just make eye contact.
You should actually
Oh.
make a reel of that. You just approaching the park ranger, knocking on his window, and holding up the beer and being like, "It looks like you could use one of these."
Like, don't even ask. Just
Right on
slip it
that.
into his window. Like, just
Also, in regards to the cutthroat trout, the Yellowstone cutthroat trout is a species of greatest conservation need in Wyoming.
Okay.
They're not endangered, but
Well, there you go.
like in Colorado, the greenback cutthroat trout is endangered.
Well, there
So-
you go then.
Hmm.
Now, the more you know.
Mhm.
that just tells me they're probably delicious.
Right?
Very
Well, if we're really curious, I know where we can net about 50 of them really easily.
That would be irresponsible. Where?
Yeah.
The Discovery Center in West Yellowstone.
So
The only issue is, the only problem is the fences are electrified.
cook
Just
it on the way
fish
out.
in or the people
Leather
out?
gloves. We're good.
Why do you need electrified fences for fish?
You know what the Bollywood version? I
For
guess it
people.
wouldn't be Bollywood because it's, it's a bunch of rednecks, but the budget version of Jurassic Park is, instead of Nedry trying to steal dinosaur embryos, it's 4 guys trying to steal a bunch of cutthroat trout. It's not velociraptors, it's a pack of wolves. It's not a T-Rex, it's just a bunch of random grizzly bears.
Welcome to Yellowstone National Park. Spared no expense.
Sorry, I got too much of a laugh out of that. The
I would like to see like an entire Jurassic Park spoof made out of Yellowstone. That somehow would amuse me greatly now. Like instead of the visitor center, it's that giant lodge they got there.
oh yeah,
And then instead of like the Jurassic Park doors with the flames and stuff, it's like a big gate, but
just the
made
random
at
fucking gates.
No, random gates, but it's made of the same lodge wood, and they just open up into Welcome to Yellowstone.
I feel this being like a very low budget film, bordering on a like HDM or the housing shows. Like
The housing
we're
shows.
looking for this kind of
It's,
house.
it's definitely a
Yeah.
Sci-Fi Channel one or
Yeah.
CW. It's Sci-Fi Channel
Yeah.
or CW.
Mm.
It belongs in the same category
You
as
keep
a,
my
as a movie.
keep my filth off of CW, sir.
There's a movie my kids stumbled upon called The Jurassic Games, which it's the Hunger Games, except it's bad CGI and dinosaurs.
This
Mhm.
sounds excellent.
Yeah,
Oh,
I haven't checked it out. I just like, yeah, y'all probably shouldn't be watching this without someone around. Turn it off.
yeah. The ultimate trick, if you go to Yellowstone and you want to see anything, is camp in the park. Get up and leave your freaking campsite at 6 a.m. and then get off the road by 10 o'clock. You're golden. Because we did that again this year, and it was perfect.
Yes.
Good call.
Actually wandered up to the top of Mammoth Hot Springs for the first time, and I get it now. It's not just a giant pile of white shit. It's just, the white shit's the shit that was there before, and now there's colorful shit on the inside.
How long a hike was that?
Not very far.
Okay.
That's the reason I don't mind bringing kids there, because then I have to hike very far. Might not do it again next year though, because this will be of like 4 or 5 freaking years in a row, and I'm done. 4 years in a row, I think. So maybe when I said 5, I was kind of overinflating myself.
Making me kind of think we should like poke my wife and plan a trip for mid-May next year.
Not
because
going to
we've been
poke your
meaning to
wife.
do this. No, mother.
I'm not going with you.
You don't have to. we haven't done
you're like-
except for that quick drive through that we did. I would like to do a better run through of
Oh,
Yellowstone. And
that was the other Memorial Day faux pas. My daughter wanted to leave on Memorial Day. We were going to leave yesterday on Tuesday, but no, she wanted to leave on Monday. And again, not thinking that it's fucking Memorial Day, I'm like, all right, well, that works. We were just gonna sleep overnight and leave in the morning anyway. Whatever. No, I was in one giant line of traffic coming south through Idaho. It was going a decent speed, but it was just one giant line of campers going north to south, all the way from West Yellowstone to I forget the name of where in Idaho where I got off and went in a different direction. Also, people in the Midwest learn how to gear down on mountain passes, you psychopaths.
Right.
There were some ladies with a freaking Wisconsin plate.
Shocking.
So the freaking pass coming over the Tetons from Idaho to Wyoming is pretty fucking steep. And now this lady behind me, I thought she was going to flap my tailpipe the entire time. Because I'm freaking geared down and shifting between, you go third, but for the most part, it was second gear. It was nice, boot, get you going down 45 miles an hour. Well, this lady, no, come up behind me, hit the brakes, slow down. Come up behind me, hit the brakes. So it's like, oh my God, we're going to die.
I mean,
next time she's going to hit the brakes and they're not going to work and she's just going to hit you.
No, she was doing good. You don't ride your brakes the whole time. You hit your brakes and you slow down 5 to 10 miles an hour under your target speed, let off, let the engine slow you down, and then when you get too fast, then you hit the brakes again. That way,
Or
cool off.
Let those rotors cool.
Or
I mean,
you grab the
that's
shifter,
fair.
you bump it to the M, you put it on the 2 or the 3,
Yep.
and just
Right,
and-
do it the right way.
She should do that. However, when there's shit
you're-
pushing you, even though you are geared down, you still have to hit the brakes sometimes.
She didn't have
Otherwise,
anything pushing her. It was just a little fucking Tacoma.
That is fair.
If
A
you get brake
suicidal
fade,
Tacoma.
use the runaway truck ramps. For
I
fuck's sake.
I want to use one of those, but I don't want to wreck my truck doing it.
But
It just looks like
won't.
fun.
It's just super deep rocks.
I mean, yeah, close enough,
Going uphill.
but it looks like fun.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it on purpose, it's not fun if you actually have to use it in an emergency.
How much of that rock will it actually take to stop a light vehicle? I mean, I know they're designed to take 80,000 pounds going 90 miles an hour. So how much to take 3,000 pounds going 90 miles an hour?
Your Prado only weighs 3,000 pounds.
No, boy.
The lighter vehicles will float on the rocks a little bit better, but you're still going uphill and it's still super soft.
Yeah.
So you're not going to outrun it.
That's not what I was worried about. I was more like
the distance. I don't know. I'm not.
No, I was
scientist.
thinking, when you watch an 18-wheeler go up those things, it's just like it just plows its way up there because of its weight. It's got the inertia.
Mhm.
And I just imagine like a passenger vehicle coming off of the highway and going,
Not necessarily.
that's what I was getting at. Just
there are some cars that are light enough and smooth enough on the bottom. On the bottom. Where you can just kind of skip along for longer than what you would think.
Interesting.
But
like that genuinely had me curious. That's why I was asking. But that's in my head. It's just so anticlimactic. Like
that guy that came off of Floyd Hill in Denver and smoked all them people.
Oh yeah.
Down on the bottom, like killed 4 people, injured I don't know how many. He didn't take the runaway truck ramp because his trucking company told him that if he did, he would get fired. So he kept her on the road. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't.
There's more jobs.
It still seems like a legal problem. Like they shouldn't be able to fire somebody for making a safety decision that damages the vehicle if there's a mechanical problem.
Oh, I mean, you can. There's people that have been in wrecks, even though they weren't their fault. They were deemed an at-risk driver and have been let go of jobs just for that.
That's what
the
I'm saying. That's
CDL
kinda
world is
nonsense.
fucking.
I mean, granted,
um,
if he had taken a truck ramp, he'd have saved 4 people. He might have lost his job, but
And he
there's
wouldn't be
other
in prison.
jobs. Be like, hey, yep, I fucking lost my brakes, hit a runaway truck ramp, they fired me. And they're like, oh, well, at least you hit a fucking truck ramp.
I like how we're now talking about basically the penetrative capability of different vehicles in a common test medium.
Indeed.
Was it gelatin? No.
I like
have-
how you applied that right back to hunting. Well done.
Freaking temperature stable, ballistic gelatin, runaway truck ramp. The truck just goes. bloop.
I want to see yes.
The problem is the poor guy inside suffocates before you can get him out.
You've got to like start cutting with a sawzall. Just hang on, buddy. Drill a tube in there for air.
You put slow motion cameras on the side so you can watch the temporary wound cavity.
Well, when that temporary wound cavity closes, but like it hasn't busted all the way through the gel, and it just comes back down and makes another like secondary explosion.
Yeah.
And tightens them.
Now then he's just got to crawl out the back, and it's that scene from Ace Ventura.
We will call him the Titan submersible.
What was that bang?
Damn you, Vince. I was drinking.
That was one of my first.
Just imagine Dave crawling out sticking his head out the back of it, like,
Bro.
Oh,
You know, I bet you
runaway
CDOT would
truck
design
ramps
special
giving birth.
nature is
emergency
beautiful.
brake gelatin rescue vehicles so they can quickly deploy to cut the drivers out so they don't suffocate in their own trucks.
Mommy.
I would have slid through that rhino like shit through a goose. I'd be so fucking sweaty.
That movie was my first experience with Jim Carrey.
I think it was mine too.
My condolences.
Yeah, indeed. I remember when I thought, like, I kind of still like that movie. That movie's actually always been fairly stupid to me.
What, the Ace Ventura movies? They're great.
No, like in the good way, the good kind
Yeah.
of stupid. Like,
No, I'm just saying.
I don't like
Nostalgic.
the first one as much as the second one because I saw the second one
Oh,
first.
The first
Also
one,
because the
as I
second one
got
has the monster truck. So
the first one, as I got older, got a hell of a lot funnier.
yeah, that's fair.
As a kid, I didn't get the first one because I didn't really like Einhorn's a man. Like, what the fuck? The worst case of hemorrhoids I've ever seen.
Einhorner's Finkel. Finkel is
Especially when it's the edited version, so you don't get to see what the worst case of hemorrhoids looks like.
He's
And
as a
when
kid, you're
everybody
just like-
finds out, everybody who's ever kissed her is like, oh, and that's a joke that
Einhorn
goes
is
over your head
Finkel.
when you're young.
Finkel is Einhorn.
Laces out, Dan.
Anyway,
No, the second one was always my favorite because Bumblebee tuna, Bumblebee tuna, Bumblebee tuna. Excuse me, your balls are showing. Bumblebee tuna,
I like how that's the bit that you picked up.
dude.
Anyway.
Earthquake test.
Uh,
I'm not sure I'm ready to be
Oh.
seen in public with you guys.
Vince,
Slinky,
That's too bad.
Slinky, go, Slinky, go.
oh
Which, if
Vin-
anybody's interested,
man,
several of
Can I
us
do
will
it
be
again?
at GunCon late in June.
You can.
and then you'll get to experience Mike too.
You're all in for a treat. Those of you
and
that
if you've
haven't
all ever
already met me.
seen, if you've all ever seen the episode where Cartman shoots Token, that's what you're in for. If you try and shake my hand, don't fucking touch me.
Just softly
That-
caress the back of his neck.
That took a dark
A
turn,
little good.
and darker than Vince's closet space.
Fair.
I will pay $1 for anybody that caresses
You all saw that,
Sam's
right?
neck.
I was stating my ground. And he drags his body into the circle a little bit more.
Is this going to be like our version of the Jeremy challenge where we have to get it's the
Oh,
caress
yeah, crap.
spam
I gotta get
challenge?
that. I gotta get the fucking stickers for that.
Yeah,
Oh.
quick.
Okay, you
course.
better hurry.
Maybe I
Speaking
need proof before. Maybe I need proof before I order a stack of stickers and nobody does it.
Speaking of uncomfortable things, we had a today at work tangent again. I know, but today at work we had a safety meeting and all the high ups from our region were down here and they were cooking us breakfast. And when they served breakfast, there was bananas, and I grabbed a banana and I made sure that it was like, okay, I'm gonna have this banana, and then I'm gonna go back to my table and I'm gonna look at my coworker and be like, hey, look at me as I two fist eating this banana and just fucking stare at him just to make everybody incredibly uncomfortable. And it was fantastic.
Look, it's the only way to eat a banana. If you try and furtively sit there and like nibble at it,
Yeah, no.
Just gotta own
This
that
was
shit.
this was like full eye contact. I'm like, look at me.
That's when you like peel
Wait,
two
it's
sides
not
of
like
it and
a-
just start eating it from the inside out so that you don't make things weird.
It's not
No,
like a popsicle.
look, dude. If you make
You
it
just stick
weird,
it in, pull it back out.
Watch your spit freeze on the exterior.
If you
Look, it's
stick your
getting
tongue
bigger.
out while you're eating a banana, you're gay.
look, eating a banana is not awkward for you if you make it awkward for everybody else.
Exactly.
It's
Be a
almost
man,
like-
eat it with the peel on.
Mike's over here breaking it. No, no.
You eat it with a knife and fork.
Yeah.
Goth.
That'd be not a fun, man.
Goth, chew this banana for me, will you? Baby bird me, Goth.
Too far. Keep going.
So, no, we're not going to keep going on that. Dave, Colorado drought results. Did you get your moose tag?
No, because I didn't put in for it, but I did get
Oh.
points. So I have all
I'm-
my weighted points now. I have all my weighted points for sheep and goat. And so next year we will actually start putting in for a tag. And because apparently in 2028 shit is changing, and I'm gonna start just putting them in for now.
Ooh.
But yesterday bear and moose came out, and then today deer came out. No word on elk or pronghorn yet. So
I know
we shall see.
someone
I
who
did
got
draw
a
my
moose
deer tag
tag.
though.
I'm not going to share who, but I know someone who got a moose tag, and it's so cool.
Congrats, Squeezer.
That's say, is it Jeff?
No, it isn't.
Oh,
Huh.
lame.
Yeah.
Look, I saw the email about a moose tag, and there was a brief half
Boring.
second where I got like, oh wait, fuck, it says unsuccessful. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh wait, I just got points.
But no, I'm super excited for this person because it is super, super cool. They're going to have a great time. And
Who is it?
not my
Calvary
story
Bowl.
to share. I just wanted to say I know someone who got a moose tag because
Who is it?
now I'm famous adjacent.
Is it Cower Bowl?
I will share if I get permission to share.
Oh my god,
Put it
fine.
in the put it in
Who
the
is
private
it?
chat. I'll share.
You guys are awful.
I really
Yeah.
want. I move. I know I want to move.
Colorado
kind of-
primary draw results are coming out this week. So they've been steadily coming out for the past couple of days. There'll be more results probably tomorrow. But
And I realized a couple of days ago. Actually, no, it was yesterday because that's when the points were coming out. I'm gonna big time screw myself over here pretty fast because if we move out of this state, I'm gonna have points to cash out, and I'm not gonna be able to hunt every fucking thing that I have points for.
yeah, you can just
Yeah, maybe.
budget.
Maybe.
Like bear 1 year, elk another year.
Yeah,
It's not
but
like-
if
it's
I
not like-
bail out, if I
Not like
bail
we
out
are
of here,
now.
if I bail out of here next year, we in trouble. Sure.
Just apply for points. Because then you'll have the points, and yeah, the tag will be expensive, but you can get
Eh.
it.
Yeah.
I'm going to dump my moose point or my moose points, my elk points next year. I think into a muzzle loader tag.
If you do
We're going
move,
to go for muzzle loader next year.
I'm going to talk to CPW about you donating your points.
To
To
Sean,
Dave.
to Mike. I don't understand. Where are you going with this, Dave?
To Dave.
What are they worth it? What are my points
Dibs.
worth to you, sir?
Dibs. That's the rules of dibs. You have to call.
Oh,
Dibs.
let's see. Do
Speaking of
100%,
dibs,
100% markup per point with a friend.
$16.
No, they're more than that.
$16 per point.
And why the hell did I get charged 58?
You're charged $58.
I had to check the fucking email. Somebody else talk.
When Sam's
Speaking-
over here like,
speaking of dibs,
I'll tell you the
do
points,
you-
but I'm gonna need about 350. And that's when we realized that Sam Alexander was actually a 50-foot sea monster from the Mesozoic era.
God dang it!
I don't know.
Yes,
It says
monster.
total payment tendered $58
For what?
on a preference point for moose.
Oh yeah, moose. Moose,
Yeah,
bighorn, and
So don't you
goat.
be telling me it's $16.
Yeah, no. Moose, bighorn, and goat, they're $50
Inside.
for point.
Look at this, Mr. Friend over here. Like, oh yeah, donate your points to me. Yeah, I'll pay. If you,
Bitch, I thought you
$60
had
point.
points.
Y'all's nonsense is expensive.
Bro. Wait till you draw one of them tags. It's
Mm.
like, oh goddamn, that's $400. And I'm a resident.
So speaking of dibs, why do you have to let Kurt Cobain sitting in the front seat?
I don't
Because
know.
he called
'cause-
shotgun.
Oh, I thought
Hey,
because Paul Walker was going to drive him into a pole.
I think-
Jesus.
I think Montana Dirt Roads has the right idea. And that's just go run into a moose and then road kill tag it.
Oh, fucking last year on the drive up to Pinedale, I passed a young cow moose that was dead on the side of the road, but couldn't tell how long it'd been dead. I mean, I guess I could have started tearing into it, but
Yeah,
we're
just tear
trying-
into it, look for green,
but it was tempting. And I told my wife, I was like, hey, if somebody had hit that thing in front of us, we would be stopping and filling the cooler with moose meat right now.
Yeah, you start taking it apart, have her run ahead, get some ice, or run back to, nearest
Oh, we
gas
have
station.
ice. What would actually be happening is all of the lunch meat and the bottle of mayo and the bottle of ketchup and all that shit's getting thrown out, and the moose is going in. And then we're going to have to keep this thing alive for the next 4 days until we drive home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, somebody hit a moose because there's some spine and condiments here, but that's it.
There's some honey ham and some roast chicken too, huh?
There's nothing but a hide in mayonnaise.
That's not mayonnaise, sir. I just get really excited.
Mayonnaise, a lot of gross shit going on here.
That was low for you.
Not one.
Yeah, it's
It was-
about middle
yeah.
of the road.
Yeah.
I feel low.
Vince just suddenly talks shit on every other joke that Mike has ever made.
And me just, yeah.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Oh, boy.
So, did you mention what you did draw, Dave?
I drew my deer tag. So
Is this the deer tags for the unit that I got almost tipped the truck over in?
no,
Yes. Oh,
No.
my bad.
no, this is a local deer tag to me. And actually, my daughter drew a tag too. So we drew late season deer. I drew a buck. She drew a doe. So come December 1st
Same
to
unit?
the 14th, any deer breathing is in danger down here.
Excellent.
Nice.
I like
So
it.
wait.
My apologies, Dave. I thought you had applied for,
No, that's elk.
Yeah.
Oh,
My
so
fault.
If we're not going to name unit numbers here, although Do we
I'll name
care?
them. I don't give a fuck. There's 4 units. Good luck.
49, right?
49 is for my elk that
Okay.
I have not heard about yet.
That's where the deer is, right, Mike?
Yes, that's where my deer. I got my deer
Okay,
tag, and
that's-
that's where my deer is.
It's all
What
coming
season?
together.
Same season as the elk.
2nd.
Yeah, I believe so.
So October, end of October through November.
All right, I'll say it now because I haven't heard from James in Michigan for a while. If you draw, especially if you draw the frickin' elk tag, I will get another secondary draw bear tag for that unit. Not flip my truck this time, or nearly flip it this time, and then we'll just peruse that unit for 3 species. And what's gonna fucking happen is Dave will see a bear, Mike will see an elk, and I'll see a deer.
Well, Mike put in for elk for that unit too, so he'll
Yeah.
see a sheep, which we won't be able to shoot.
I'm gonna have a bad day.
You'd be like,
God,
"Holy shit,
I'm
there's a
gonna
moose!"
Block you.
No, what you're gonna do is leave me in Unit 49. Everybody remember this episode.
Yeah,
That's where you'll find me.
pretty easy. Base of Buffalo Peaks, but no. Hopefully, I'll get my elk tag, and then I should have a pronghorn tag coming too, antelope tag for down here because I have 4 fucking points, which is unheard of. But
Sorry, sir,
you know,
it's 5 points to draw this year.
yeah, it wouldn't fucking surprise me.
You have 4 elk points.
And I have seen some pretty decent bucks so far for antelope down here.
Ooh, gotcha.
Like, I would have shot 3 of them that I saw of the 7. They're not monsters, but I'd be damn happy with them. So
That is encouraging.
Mhm.
I completely forgot to even put in for pronghorn anything, so I didn't even get a point. But
it's because you're running low on ammo.
Speaking of monsters,
bitch.
I could have brained a freaking bison from 25 yards and brought one of those home if I didn't go to federal prison for it. Because there were a couple of those guys out by the creek by the campground. We were sitting on the hill and the damn thing started crossing the river, so we moved back up the hill. But
I mean, it's
That would've
just
been
how
nice.
you do it. I mean,
there were witnesses.
you gotta be
A lot
you
of
gotta go at night and you gotta
with
be
cameras.
quiet.
No, couldn't do it at night. There were witnesses. But
Very
I could have.
That's why you get a shusher. It goes shh.
But I like bison meat. Ooh, bison veal rather. Because they just had the little calves too, the little fluffy freaking calves running around. They probably taste
The
really
red
good.
dogs.
They probably taste good.
I
Oof.
think if I was ever going to hunt buffalo, that would be the one time that I went to a different country. And I'd go.
You
to
don't want to
Mexico.
shoot a cow?
No, I don't want to shoot something with an ear tag.
it's been vaccinated.
Even I have standards. I'm like, God damn.
That one.
I mean, I could go shoot a cow or a bull out here. Now I could pay somebody to be like, hey, what's this worth to you? $2,000? Sure. Here. Yeah. And then I just go shoot that. Throw a fucking salt block and be like, there you go. Waka.
Yeah, I actually read a whole thing about hunting feral cattle in the highlands of Hawaii.
Mhm.
And it's kind of a whole thing because there's cattle ranches on the Big Island, but there's also feral cattle that escape from the ranches, and the ranchers don't want them interbreeding with their stock. So there's the bulls that are feral. There's a market for selling hunts to hunt those bulls, and they're actually fairly wily creatures and wary of people, and they're kind of hard to hunt. And the story I read, complete tangent, just the guy was using archery equipment to do it, and it was just he managed to kill one, but it was a little bit of a rodeo. But
Right.
it's not like in that context, if you're dealing with actual wild cattle, it's not as straightforward as you might think.
Lever gun, horseback would be my dream for that hunt. Even if I was on Hawaii.
Wait a minute. The Big Island of Hawaii is called Hawaii, right?
That's why it's called the
Maui.
Big Island.
No, I thought
No.
Maui was not the big one.
I don't
Either
know
way,
Hawaii geography.
Hawaii is the big one. Maui is the second big one. Oahu is the
Speaking
third big one.
speaking of shitty movie remakes, instead of Escape from Alcatraz, it's featuring cows, and it's called Escape from Hawaii.
Escape from Calcatraz.
I'll accept it. That's not bad.
I actually went on a buffalo hunt, and when I shot the animal, the guide looked at me and he's like, "Man, this animal just turned 200 years old." I was like, "You're kidding me." He's like, "No, it just celebrated its bicentennial."
Did you shoot him?
Yes.
Terrible.
Okay, so I told a joke very, very similar to that at Ted's Montana Steakhouse, and then the waitress brought me a plain steak with no seasoning. So I think
Was it
I
perfect
think
for your ketchup?
God, it was disgusting. I wanted seasoning.
You were very very specific about the telling of where on this joke. It's almost like you have a grudge.
Almost.
Almost.
There we are.
Good show.
All right, goodbye.
Thank you, Vince. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
Okay, say my pleasure.
Did I talk last week about the range day with the 45 supers and how they ran really well?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, good. Vince, you went on a range day, right?
I did go on a range day. When I was shooting with a buddy, I don't know, we kind of shot a lot of different things. He has a range kind of set up behind his house because he's on 8 acres, and then the 80 or 100 acres, I forget which, kind of behind him, he has permission to hunt and shoot on because the guy lives out of state and doesn't care. So we kind of messed around for a little while. Like most of the morning, I got to mess with some Steel Challenge stuff because he has a range set up behind his house mimicking the Steel Challenge match that they do locally. I don't know a whole lot about Steel Challenge and whether or not it's set up the same everywhere, but he had it set up. You have 5 targets in front of you, 3 at 15 yards and 2 at 25 yards. And the way you're supposed to shoot it is you have to shoot them in the correct order. Basically, the one in the middle closest, you have to shoot last. If you shoot it out of order, you're done, and that's your score, and you get no points. You are awarded no points for the ones you missed. But we played around on that for a little while with the 22s, especially. I shot my 9mm a little bit. I actually shot. Sam was talking about his whatever that nonsense is, the P320 chassis thing that's a little PDW. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'd mentioned I have a Recover Tactical brace for a Polymer 80.
Mm-hmm.
And I sighted that thing in. I had the mediator on it. It was really cool to shoot, and I decided that I freaking hate it. So I'm getting rid of the brace thing because it punches you in the face every time you shoot it because of how low you have to get on it to actually.
Oh, do you have your optic mounted on the slide?
Yeah.
Yeah, because their little optic mount that bolts on the side of it is a piece of plastic junk.
Yeah,
which was my big issue because the Recover 2020 does a lot of the same crap the Flux will do for a hell of a lot cheaper, but there's no good way to mount an optic to it because a little plastic freaking doohickey that you're supposed to use for an optic mount doesn't hold zero. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, that is correct. So I'm done messing with that thing. I'm getting rid of it. Like, this is not worth it. I mean, the whole system together was actually pretty accurate. Like 2 or 3 inch groups at 25 yards were pretty easy with the red dot. But still wasn't worth the squeeze. But mostly spent time shooting the 22s out there. Mm-hmm. And that I was reminded of the axiom that you can't miss fast enough to win a gunfight. Because if you just slow down enough and make each shot count, it actually runs way faster and you end up with a better score. I think I got down to where I could do the 5 targets in under 4 seconds if you just slow down. But I had fun shooting out there with the suppressed 22. I'd actually shot a whole lot of different subsonic 22 ammunition recently to see which ones worked best. And the one that stood out as just the quietest was the CCI 45 grain semi-auto, which is coming out the barrel on the pistol at about 830 feet per second. And it's uber quiet. It's very quiet. But CCI standard still seemed like the cheapest go-to because it's quiet enough, but not super expensive. But we just spent a little while shooting on the pistol range, and then we moved over to his rifle range, and we went out, and he had a Ruger precision rifle in 22 long rifle, and we're out there at 100 yards, and I have my Ruger. See, I have a Ruger American stainless, and we're both just wailing on the 4-inch gong at 100 yards, just one after the other, like ding, 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 ding. And he's using he bought a Silencer Co. Sparrow suppressor, and I had my Atlas Copus on the rifle, and we're both shooting the exact same ammo. We're shooting CCI standard velocity, and you cannot tell the difference between the two suppressors. I mean, they're both just really quiet. That part was a whole lot of fun. He had a 300 blackout build that he was working on. I had my 300 blackout bolt gun out there that I got sighted in with the subsonic stuff, and I figured out you know, how the supersonic stuff regulates versus the subsonic, and it's actually a whole 4 mil difference at 100 yards. Like the supers hit 4 mil higher at 100 yards versus the subsonics. It has actually kind of surprised me how different they were.
How was the windage?
Windage was exactly the same on the bolt
That's
gun.
pretty nice then.
Yeah, it was just straight up, you know, aim 4 mils high if you're using the supers, and then I left it sighted in for the subsonics just because I figured that's where I would be most interested in using a bolt gun. The other thing he bought a Henry recently and decked it completely out with the Ranger Point Precision furniture like Sam hates.
Nothing ruins a good lever gun faster than trying to make it into an AR.
You know, I don't hate I don't hate the concept, but man, was that sucker heavy. Is like 11 pounds.
I don't hate the concept if what you are trying to do is have a very suppressible non-bolt action rifle. The problem is most of the people who buy that crap don't have suppressors, and it's just like an excuse to buy a lever gun and then an excuse to buy more shit to put on it that you never shoot anyway.
Yeah, he had a Lahar 30L and a bunch of the Hornady subsonic 30-30 ammunition.
Well, 30-30 is, I mean, okay, there you go. I got a problem with that. Why the hell you get a 45-70 at that point? Like 30-30? Come on.
I mean, you might as well just 300 blackout at that point, but you know, they don't make 300 blackout lever guns, so
They should.
honestly, they probably should. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing a Henry, like the Long Ranger Express, like the one with the threaded barrel, like in 300 blackout. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But he had that out there. He's messing with this 30 caliber suppressor, and it was pretty quiet. It was not as quiet as the 300 blackout because you're still burning less powder with the 300 blackout, but it still sounded it was fun to mess with, and it was really cool. But then I got around to messing with so I have a BRN 180 in 300 blackout that it's kind of my home defense
Mhm.
gun, but I also shoot it, and I've considered trying to hunt with it before. And I got out there and I could not hit anything with that. And I was using the iron. I just had it set up with iron sights. Like, I don't need anything else. Just iron sights are fine. And I got out there, could not hit crap with it. Could not shoot a good group at 100 yards. It's like, what is going on? And I kind of determined eventually that, well, okay, my eyesight is not great. Everyone who's seen the live show knows I wear glasses, and these glasses are 10 years old.
Oof.
Dang,
Yeah.
dude.
I've been there, boy.
So I took the red dot that was on the I took the mediator off that polymer 80 and I put it on the in the AR mount on the BRN 180, and I'm much more pleased with that. I had it there at one point, but I went and shot it the other day, and I'm shooting 1-inch groups at 50 yards again. I was like, okay, that's acceptable. But I do have a major gripe about the BRN 180 because, okay, I learned some things. All right. The BRN 180 is, for those who don't know, is Brownells came out with a reproduction kind of the AR 18/180,
Mhm.
which was Stoner's design that he submitted for Army trials after leaving Armalite, whatever.
And it's piston, right?
Yep, it's a short stroke gas piston.
Yeah.
And the thing about the BRN 180 is it's got some nice features to it. It's an interesting, like, modern reimagining kind of. I have the Gen 2, all right, because there's a Gen 1 that was kind of iffy. Gen 2 is pretty good, and they have a new Gen 3. The Gen 2, I don't know about the others, has a rubber stopper on the side of it for the folding stock on the left side. So the folding stock folds over and it bumps up against the little bump stop. Okay. So
No
it's a little
bumper.
rubber thing on the left side. All right. I'm gonna try and show some of this here.
Goodbye, Montana dirt roads.
I'm sorry.
Nice knowing you, sir.
Leaves you behind. Okay. So right here, see this dingus? Okay. I put some, this is actually an old MOE plate from the old precursor to the M-Lock, but it's basically a washer. So that bump stop is held on by a bolt, and it goes through, and inside the action there is what is essentially a nut, but the nut is part of the guide rail for the bolt carrier. And so while I was out shooting, that rubber bump stop thing popped off. Like, it got hooked on something, popped off. It's out in the aether somewhere. It's gone. So that leaves space then, because the bolt isn't seated down against anything. So that nut that's on the inside that's part of the rail is now like kind of loose. So it's hanging up the bolt on the inside just because the rubber bump stop for the brace/folding stock came off and ran away.
That's handy.
I'm like, okay, that's not good. I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna go mess with it another day. So the other day I went back out and I was like, okay, I don't have another bump stop thing, so I'm just gonna take that off and go run it that way until I can, call Brownells or something and get them to send me another one. So I took the little nut on the inside out that's part of the rail, because it's not actually nut shaped. It's just a little rail piece that pops in there, and then you screw the screw into it. Took all of that out, and I tried to go shoot it, and it wouldn't run either. Like, it wouldn't go all the way into battery, and it wouldn't exactly, like, it just wouldn't run. And I started to realize that little piece, that little nut on the inside that's part of the rail, is also integral to making sure that the bolt cams over at the correct time. So you can't just take it out. And if
And
you
a
tighten,
critical component is dependent on a fucking screw to hold it in.
it's dependent on a screw to hold it in, and the entire reason for the screw to be there is to hold on a rubber bump stop for the stock.
Ugh.
And here's the other thing: if you just take the screw and run it all the way in, so that it's, imagine the bump stop's gone, you run the screw all the way in, and it's holding everything fine.
It's
The
gonna come in
screw
too far.
the screw is too long, and then also impedes the bolt carrier. So I had to get basically a metal washer and put it in between the two so that the freaking thing will run correctly without the little rubber bump stop there. So it's like, that's just obnoxious that there's a rule, law, whatever. Like you don't stop engineering whenever you can't add anything. You stop engineering when you can't take anything away. Like someone at some point should have said, like, no, we can take this part away.
Yeah, because
Like
that's not present on the original AR-180/AR-18.
yeah, it's
That's
something.
just. Yeah, I get why they probably put it there. So, that way people don't mar up their guns, because people are freaking stupid about, like, oh, it's a scratch on my gun, it's the end of the world. But ugh.
Yeah, realizing that was like a critical component was kind of annoying. Like you have to sit there and like hold the little dingus out in order for the thing to run. I was like, other than that, the getting it back out and sighting it in with the mediator on it was actually pretty nice. After I got it running correctly, I mostly run supers through it, saw where subsonics hit. I was like, okay, that'll work, and then kind of just left it sighted in for the supersonics. But I just wanted to complain about that because I was pretty freaking annoyed. Like the rubber bump stop on the side comes off, and now the gun doesn't work.
Yeah, that's dumb.
That doesn't make any sense.
Like someone, I hope they have fixed that on the Gen 3. Gen 3 is very different.
Yeah, the Gen 3 to me, I really wish freaking AR-180s had taken off, because that's like, I want one really bad. The BRN-180s, they get close, but they're never really close enough to the real thing to interest me all that much, because I don't want a modernized AR-180. I want an AR-180. So then the Gen 1, the Gen 2 is then the Gen 3 to me is not even an AR-180. Like, they took away the iconic charging handle. Now it's just a generic ACR type upper. To get into gun terms. But yeah.
I bought this one intentionally for use as a suppressor host.
Yeah.
And it works okay at that, but it's got 2 gas settings, and I don't think that's enough to really tune your gas for it. But it's fairly easy to toggle the gas settings, though they made it way easier with the Gen 3. But I did notice that even with it suppressed, it will not run subsonics on the low setting. You have to open the gas all the way up in order to run subsonics.
Ew.
So
what's the other one that Brownell sells? Is it the BRN4 that's also based on the AR-18?
No, the BRN4
is a 416.
Is that the 416?
Is that it? Yes, I think Sam's right.
That's a 416.
Okay. I was thinking, isn't there a BRN9, which is just a rebranded Matador Arms?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yes, it is. I looked it up.
Okay, so
it wouldn't surprise me either, because I've noticed, this is not hunting gun related at all. Not that the others, but whatever. But I have noticed that trend with PSA's done it, and now Brownells is doing it too, where they're just rebranding. They're not doing their own shit anymore. They're just selling other people's shit with a different name on it.
Well, even the stuff they do
Sig,
sell, what
fucking Sig did it because instead of it being the Flux Raider, they just bought out. Well, they bought out a bunch of Flux's shit and made their highly expensive one.
even
It
the
beats
the
the backup.
BRN stuff, it's made by Primary Weapon Systems.
Yeah,
I mean, it's who designed it and everything.
Brownells lost my. Brownells became the enemy for me when they especially discontinued the retro series with the AR-10 because I wanted one of those, and they don't exist anymore.
That's pretty.
The other thing I did is I finally got around to getting a 30 millimeter scope mount from Gideon Optics because it does this really cool thing where it lines up freaking perfectly with my thermal.
Am I going to be the one to point out that you've got a $2,000 LPVO in a $40 optic mount?
You can point that out all you want, and I don't care.
Does
Honestly,
it work?
It's
Rodent-
better.
Roden right now is having a freaking seizure.
I
Well,
took
that's just because he's under it. LA is earthquaking right now.
I took this. I have a Night Force NX8 on this rifle, and I took it out of a Badger C1 mount, and I put it in a Gideon Optics mount. And I'm not saying that the Gideon Optics mount is better than a Badger C1. I cannot say just like, oh, it's better. I mean, it's going from what I've done with the other one, with the weight and the height that it's sitting at, like it does what I want it to, and it does it at the weight that I want it to. It is much lighter than the Badger mount. The Gideon Optics mount's like 5 ounces. And the
How much
Badger
is the
C1,
Badger mount?
the Badger Bear is, I think, 8, and then you have like all the add-ons that you can put on it, like the 12 o'clock mount and the J arms
Oh,
to run
okay.
45-degree mounts off the side of it, which don't get me wrong, it's a great system. I've messed with it. I think it's really good. It's just heavier than I want. And for the backups on this rifle, I actually kind of just like the Magpul. Is that Magpul? Yeah. The Magpul Pro offset mounts are actually what I like because I don't know. I think it's overly redundant to have a 45-degree offset red dot and then like an offset iron sights, or even have backup iron sights mounted at 12 o'clock and then back have an offset red dot or a 12 o'clock red dot.
What you
Like,
need to do.
Pick a main optic and then pick an offset in case something happens with that. And your offset, your backup might as well be iron sights in case you're in a situation where optics are rendered useless, like heavy rain, or
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Mhm.
is that where optics are rendered useless?
I mean, there's the mission where there's the EMP above DC, and as soon as I learned about guns in life, it pissed me the hell off because there's a lot of optics in there that should have etched reticles that don't.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the Gideon Advocate and how awesome that would be during an EMP event because the
Well,
edge reticle
according to Activision, the etched reticle goes away.
Well, Activision,
And even though your gun has, or no, because they do that stupid thing where they don't fold the sights, they just freaking cut them off on all the guns. Never mind.
So here's what you do. You've got your LPVO right here. Then you got your 45-degree offset red dot. Then you got your 90-degree iron sights.
And then you have a 45-degree
old-
offset on the other side too.
Gangster grip, the AR.
Right. So you just put pick rails on the 90-degree side, and then you put your normal iron sights just mounted on the
If you really want to fuck with somebody, you could have 2 red dots on your 45 offset, just one down towards the end of your handguard. Then you line them up like a shotgun.
I just thought of the most cursed optics stack. That's not the most cursed, but it'd be really goofy. It's is the Advocate's the Prism, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
that's a T1 footprint. There's a company called Flip Defense that makes, so it's kind of designed to fit around the primary arms 3X prisms. I really want one. I actually don't really want one. I want to play around with one. But essentially it's a separate optic mount that's you can look through that puts a red dot above the I just need to pull up the damn. One of these days I'm gonna figure out how to use a computer. It's gonna be fascinating. Anyway, so you've got
One
your
of these
3X
days you'll be fascinating.
You've got your prism sight behind it, and then it's like it's almost like a Unity mount where it's a really high red dot mount for a T1.
Okay, I see what you're
So that
doing.
you can
Mhm.
look through that optic, but so instead of piggybacking one dot off the other, it's a separate optic mount.
What
It's
he's talking
cool.
about is having a prism sight, but then having a prism sight on top of his prism sight.
Yes,
Prismception.
you can have 1X prism on top and a 3X down below.
Like, yo, dog. Here
That would
my
be good
prism
for
sight.
NV shit. I think.
Except for
Oh,
sorry,
The
so this is
rifles
a lot
in
of
jail.
misconception. People talk about how like carry handle mounts on ARs are like the ultimate because everyone's doing taller mounts now for passive night vision aiming, passive aiming with night visions where you look through a red dot that has a night vision setting on it. Most of them really suck. Like I have a primary arms that has 2 or 3 night vision settings on it, and they're not bright enough to where you can only see them on really super dark nights. And I've got another one that's too bright, and then a lot of pistol dots like the Hollow Sun 509T I have. The night vision settings work, but light transmission coming through the optic is so bad that you can't see through it. You're almost doing like a Benden aiming concept or whatever that is, where you're just kind of laying it over and hoping for the best. Anyway, the issue with that kind of setup, or like putting a red dot on a carry handle, which puts it at the right height, but you've got the tube coming 4 inches off the front of your face, which then clonks into the back of your carry handle or anything behind your red dot. And so then you're sitting there battering your multi-$1,000 night vision with your rifle every time you shoot. Or having to freaking pull your stock out all the way and you're like long arming it way out in front of you. Anyway. Not that anybody cared.
Well,
But-
alrighty
I'm
then.
the only person this is relevant to.
That is basically what we do, though, is talk about what's only relevant to us. So, hooray!
Hey,
It's
night
probably
vision is fucking awesome.
you're not wrong. It
Treadwell
really
is
is.
also really fucking awesome. I don't know him, but I know of a guy who got a Fusion. I don't remember the model he got, but it's not an E-Cody. It's not a clip-on thermal for night vision. It is the mount. It's the closest you're ever going to get to the actual Splinter Cell shit from back in the 2000s, where it was the three like tube goggle setup, where it's dual tubes, and then centered almost right in the forehead is a freaking thermal that overlays on top of the night vision. But it works better than a clip-on because it's a dedicated, like I think it's just a better unit in general. But like, expensive as all hell though. Never gonna happen. But talk
So
about Roden shit.
Roden in the chat says, you guys ever been at a gun store buying a gun, listening to the customer next to you complain to the guy at the counter that his EOTech NV mode didn't work and that he doesn't see anything at all? Roden, I worked at Cabela's selling guns for 8 months. Yes.
Those are some of my favorite conversations to listen in on.
God,
I kind of
That's-
avoid gun shops if I can.
Yeah.
It's like the time
Same.
I was in Bass Pro Shop. This was back in 2016. It was during one of the big rushes on guns where fucking ammo was dead on the ground as all hell. Time off. I can't see.
Can't see shit out of this thing. Can you see? Not too good.
All I have to say is
It's-
thank you guys.
It's a Django reference if you didn't pick that up. Django Unchained.
Thank you.
Anyway, I was at Bass Pro Shop, and this dude starts. I don't know how his girlfriend looked like a girlfriend anyway, maybe his wife, was the one who brought the box of 9mm to the front of the store to meet him. But he starts going off on her about how this says 9mm Luger. You're supposed to get 9mm Parabellum. And I was just like, oh, fucking hell.
Oh boy,
Oofta.
Yep.
man. Okay,
Honestly,
I
imagine
try
my
and-
surprise when I discovered 9mm NATO was actually a separate caliber, much like 45 Super, but still
What
separate.
about 9mm Largo?
I've not heard of that one.
Yeah. There's a
If
lot
we're
of
talking
random
about, like,
9mm actually.
Well,
bad-
NATO is 9mm Luger, just hot loaded, and it has to be loaded into 9mm NATO chambered things.
Oh,
Yeah, just like 45 Super. It's intriguing.
9mm Super.
It kind of is. Which I think that's why they went with 9mm NATO, because nobody was ever going to believe it was super.
I
Disney
I
just-
haven't gotten any of the bad like optic stuff while sitting in gun stores, but I have gotten the guy. I was sitting there waiting to pick up a suppressor, like the first one, and a guy walks in with his girlfriend. Okay, very sweet looking lady. This guy dressed in his cowboy Sunday best, and he's like, "I'm here to buy her a lightweight 357 Magnum for carrying."
Oh,
And I'm like, oh no. I decided not to. And it's one of those regrets. Like, I probably could have helped at least her out by mentioning, like, hey, why?
Mhm.
hey there, little lady.
I think what you mean is 380.
I think what you mean is, here, let me put some guns in her hands and see what feels good first.
I'll tell you what, anything else. Pick anything else besides a scandium framed 357 Magnum.
I know a
let-
guy.
Go.
Sorry. I know a guy that has his wife carry a 357 Derringer because
Ugh.
it's small.
So that she's going to fire it once. It's going to, like, she's going to be like, bang, and it's going to hit her in the forehead.
It's one of
Just,
them
like, fly out
goofy
of her
ass
hand.
4-shot pepper box looking bastards.
Oh, you
those
mean like
ones are
the one at
cool.
the end
Yeah.
of Bad Boys? The dude,
Maybe.
The top
when-
Derringers.
yeah, the one at the end of Bad Boys. He pulls it out from behind him, and then Will Smith and Martin Lawrence shoot him dead. And he, like, the glint of it catches Will Smith. Dude, yeah. Those things are cool.
They are
one of
like a
those.
3.
Dude,
For
that's
sure.
lightweight enough that it like you could try and kill yourself with it and you might miss.
Yeah.
Like point blank touching skin and the recoil like takes it off your point of aim.
Yeah.
So anywho, I finally did the thing I was gonna do. And I went gobble
Came out?
hunting.
Oh,
Fuck off. I took a chicken buddy turkey hunting, and it was a very nice, heavily
you're
armed
not
hike
helping
through the
your
woods.
case.
I
Like,
took a chicken
don't
hunting,
give a shit.
turkey hunting. Gobble gobble.
Bite me, ding dong.
It was a beautiful Saturday morning in May.
It was honestly
was
a
the
very, very pretty May Sunday morning, and
Don't say
Clouds
pretty.
Low. Clouds hung
can
low in the
the
sky.
fuck
as the
I want.
sun
I got a
rested
First
over the
Amendment,
trees.
sir.
That doesn't mean you have to use it.
All right. So we actually got there.
filter what you say.
We got there 10 minutes before first light, which is a first for me, apparently. The sun started coming up. The mist had, like, it was overcast most of the morning. It was possibly going to rain lightly on us. It never did, thankfully. But I'm just trying to set the stage. Like, imagine just the light greens in the forest that you only get in early May, or, well, I suppose at this point, late May. And you only get them in May. Moving on. We got to walk through the forest about 4 miles, and we made a whole bunch of clucking. We sat down at one end, clucked a bunch, trying to call. Shut up, Sam.
Chicken buddy. clucking
Chris May
ice
morning.
itself.
Get it out. Come on, buddy.
No, keep going.
You keep going.
This is way
No.
better. Keep going. You need to finish.
Anything
How many times did you cluck?
Okay, so we were calling and calling, and there were several times we.
Cluck, it's better.
I swore I heard.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I swore I heard turkeys calling back, and it wasn't gobbles. It sounded like hen calls, and I was like, "Come on,
Garbage.
garbage!" Which we thought was weird, and also it could have been possibly other hunters, but we heard them, we heard the calls and heard nothing since. So we, call back and hear nothing. So we sat for about an hour, got bored, started wandering through the woods again. And honestly, it was great. We didn't find anything. We didn't find sign of anything, didn't find tracks, didn't find scat, didn't find feathers underneath trees, didn't really hear anything. Like,
did you go up by where we go beaver hunting?
Yeah, like on the way back down, we were like, on the way back to the truck, we were like, should we walk back through this mountainous terrain or walk back down by the river and scout for beaver? And he was like, you know what, walking down by the river scouting for beaver sounds good, which is why I sent the pictures. The first picture I sent was the bank den of the beaver that I shot last month, and it looked like it had been freshly messed with. And so I'm thinking there's another one that lives in that same pond. The dam hasn't been broken. It looked freshly maintained, and there was freshly cut deadwood right around there. So that's pretty promising. And then the next pond down, the one with the big bank den on the north side, the huge mound one.
Yeah.
That one looked pretty upkept as well. So those both might be decent shots come October. So it wasn't a total waste of turkey hunting. Like, at least we got some decent beaver scouting in, and it was really a nice hike through the woods. And to my credit, that is the furthest I've been able to walk in the woods in a very long time. And I walked out of there not limping. It was great. Like, literally 4 miles. I remember, Sam, if you remember when you started the trapping thing, do you remember when I was like, oh, we had to walk down there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was telling him about that. I was like, dude, literally, we parked the truck up there, and I was like, we got to walk all the way down there. Oh, and then he was like, yeah, and we got to get my traps in the face.
It's like when you take your car to the mechanic to get a new CV shaft, and then it gets one, and then it's like, oh man, I can drive this now.
Yeah. That's honestly a lot what it feels like. So that was encouraging as well.
Mike and his new shaft are show titles.
Please no, also, okay.
Get flipped.
Not much to report other than the fact that there is definitely no turkey living up there just above the Beaver Creek. Now, there might be some in other parts of that particular section of forest, and we just picked the wrong section.
So I've never seen a turkey up there, or turkey prints, or turkey fucking feathers. Never heard one, which is ironic considering the shooting area is called Turkey Tracks.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I picked it, but I did do some scouting on the CPW website, and they have turkey listed as living in that area. I'm sure it's probably much more like the turkey that you see roaming about, like in Larkspur and Castle Rock, or up in Conifer, where you just come around the corner and boom, there's some turkeys. Like, I don't know, man. But at the same time, like, it's the first trip out. We didn't really get to do any scouting. And obviously, if we had done scouting, we wouldn't have gone someplace we knew birds weren't. We would have tried someplace else. but that's just part of it. It's called hunting, not getting. So we're going to learn the lessons and apply them next time, and hopefully
Get them.
do better.
How long did you say that you were out there?
All morning, from about sun up, half hour to sun up is when we started walking in. And I did. Let me finish that thought. Half an hour prior to sunup is when we started walking in, and then we drove out of there about 12:30.
Okay.
We did stand after we kind of figured out there weren't any birds to hunt. We stood around bullshitting for about an hour and a half, but yeah. I did take a shot at a Eurasian. It flew right over my head, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a Eurasian!" Bang.
Sounds so racist.
Turkey load on a dove.
I mean,
Bro,
it's still 4 shot.
that was shooting just to shoot something. If you had made contact, it'd be like, well, cool. Just leave that.
I'm pretty sure I missed because I was like, "Where's my dot bird? No dot bird. I can barely see the. Barely. Okay, I'll just fire."
Sounds like
Oh
Sam
shit!
in
So you've had what
Yellowstone.
happened to me in Texas, which is you turn it on and like, cool, I can see that, and then
Yep.
an hour later you pop up
Yep.
to shoot something like, oh fuck.
And then I spent the next like 3 or 4 minutes messing with it because he was like, "You're all right?" And I was like, my dot vanished. When I took a shot at the dove, I couldn't figure out what happened, and I was pushing a whole bunch of buttons, and then finally it flashed back bright, and it was dot. And I was like, "No, I had you on circle dot." So I held up, and then it went back to circle, and I was like, "No," held it again, back to circle dot. Okay, well now you're circle dot and you're bright and shiny. Cool, we're back to normal. Whatever. Have no idea what happened here, but maybe it's still mad at me from pointing it directly at the sun accidentally when I shot at that duck a while back.
I forgot that me and the boy went out and shot some more skeet yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
That's pretty neat.
Did he enjoy it?
Yeah, he knocked a few out of the air. He did pretty good.
Good.
I did less good than my last outing with the what is that? The granite on top of the double barrel. But I was really trying to use left barrel instead of right barrel for this one, and for some reason I actually need to go out and check to see how well the two barrels are regulated, because I think left barrel is hitting different than right barrel. Though I did vaporize one really close, and it's the first time I've ever shot a clay and it just turned to a mist. It didn't blow like just it was not chunks. It was just
Not
Atomized.
there.
is we both saw it and it was like that's never happened before. That's weird. But yeah, I need to go out and actually shoot it at cardboard at given distances and see how it's patterning, because I do think that the two barrels aren't very well regulated. Maybe.
It's intriguing.
Yeah, it hit okay. I still hit stuff out there. I think I was still 100% with the right barrel. It's just left barrel is not as good, which is interesting because left barrel is has a wider choke than the right barrel.
Dude, that left barrel just not shooting as well as she used to, huh?
If she ever
If she ever shot good to begin with.
shoot good to begin with. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. I did some messing with that. That was fun.
So Dusky in the chat says he went turkey hunting for a weekend, went back to work on Monday with turkeys running around his neighborhood. Dusky, literally 10 minutes after I got home from that hunt, my wife showed me a video of turkeys running around in Colorado Springs, just a couple miles from where I live. And I sent that to my buddy, and I was like, dude, we should have just stayed here.
These exist. We're great for urban areas, supposedly. Cannot confirm
Mhm.
nor
Well, you
deny.
you haven't
But-
lived in an urban area in
12 years?
is a long time.
Large smacking sound when the guillotine hits the broadside of a deer.
Hmm.
Whap.
Hmm.
I have just one more thing for my notes. And I would like to play a clip for you guys. And then
Oh,
I will give
please.
my thoughts. And then you can give your thoughts.
Is
but
this video or audio?
It is video with audio.
Ooh,
It's
audio.
It's
Yeah.
a snuff audio.
It's one of them moving pictures.
Daggone.
It's a talkie.
Okay. So
It'll never catch on.
is there's bunch of kids fishing
Right
on
now,
this
it's a bunch of
deck.
kids screaming.
I don't know why it's not playing. There we go.
Oh my goodness, this is a 5 pound striper. I know, 5 pound.
No,
That's like a Brody.
This
Are you
kid
still
that
on?
has the camera
Yeah, still
on can be
Reel,
like
reel, reel, reel.
12, 13
No, let it
years
run,
old,
let it run.
maybe.
We're gonna tire it out. We're gonna.
And he's helping this other kid that is much
Alright,
younger.
Just let it run. Just literally
It
hold
looks
it there.
like
Do not reel.
he's
Do not
8,
reel. Reel when it gets
9
loose.
maybe.
Reel when it gets loose. Reel.
My what?
All right. Let it run. Let it run.
Save my fucking line. Save my fucking line.
And
We got a
they're
net.
trying to reel in this fish.
Give me it. I'm a
the
pro
title of the
netter.
video is a 30-inch striper.
You gotta speak louder, Dave. This kid's louder.
Sorry. Yep. Sorry.
Right. Do not rip. Don't rip. Do not rip.
They get
Don't
this
rip.
fish
Massive.
in
Don't reel. Don't reel. Let it go. Let it go.
It's the biggest fish I've ever
Don't reel. Don't reel.
with a net.
Holy guys.
And it's a
Guys, this is a massive striper.
30-inch
Watch out, Brent.
striper. So an absolute monster of a fish. But I it just it hit me in a different way when I saw it. It's a bunch of kids out on the end of a deck, on the end of a dock, fishing, and they're all working together. And it's just one. I think this kid that actually is wearing the camera is going to be a fishing guide sometime later in his life. I think just
Wouldn't
the way he
surprise me,
handled
yeah.
himself and the way he handled the kid that was actually reeling in the fish. There was a sense of leadership in that, and then it was just a bunch of kids. It's like this is what fishing used to be, I think. Like early more 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
Well, this is what the kids had before they had screens.
Yeah. And
I mean, this is what we in the 80s like had.
We in
all
the
of
80s?
This is what I had for 5 years. I was literally before we got a
91,
Nintendo.
92,
As soon as we got a
92.
Nintendo, I was lost to
Yeah.
the video game world.
67.
sorry if you couldn't hear me while that video was playing. It was they were pumped up. But I saw it and I was like, man, that's just nostalgia.
It's really cool, man. You know, them kids aren't going to be in. They're going to stay out of jail. They're
I
going to
mean,
be too busy fishing.
Maybe some of them.
I mean, a 30-inch. Let's done.
Some of them are going to stay out of jail. Other ones are going to be putting weights in fish. They'll go to jail that way.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are going to go to jail for catching fish.
I think I hear what you're saying, Dave. It's like before everything became like, oh, pro fishing this, or gotta have the new kind
The
of
gear
equipment,
Which I'm guilty of.
kind of that. It's just kids fishing.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's an older kid showing a younger kid, be like, hey, let him run. Which the kid that has this camera, and it's in the show notes, so the link is in the show notes, you can watch it. The kid that has this camera is like coaching this kid that actually has hooked this fish. It's like, hey, let it run. You don't want to reel it in too quick. You'll break your line. Just coaching him through the whole thing. And this other kid that actually has it hooked is flipping shit. I mean, clearly you can hear him. Holy fuck, man! Yeah,
These kids their balls haven't even dropped, and they're
That kid's
swearing
balls
left and
dropped that
like,
day.
yeah,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That fish dragged it down.
It's just so cool to watch. I think it's just
Roden,
I
it's
agree,
just
man.
fantastic.
Roden has the right idea. I was gonna say that kid gonna end up going pro and then spend all his prize money on hookers and blow and start putting weights in fish to chase that high. Mhm.
The kid with the camera, I think he's a great coach. He was just pumped that the kid had the fish. He helped him out a little bit, grabbed the rod, and helped him reel a little bit. But I think that was just to get the kid that hooked it like centered. It's like, hey, get your shit together, and then grab this pole while I go grab this net.
I saw that, and I
been
saw
a-
that more as making sure the equipment was set correctly for
Yeah.
the fight that you had,
Mhm.
because you got to have the drag set correctly for the line weight and the reflex of the pole and for the size of the fish. So he grabbed it, he checked it, and then he gave it back.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's the kid knows what he's doing. I mean,
Yeah, the way he netted the fish too, he stuck the net all the way down into the water, and then he just kind of slowly worked the net towards the fish. He tried 2 times before he actually got it, so it wasn't like just throwing the net on top of the fish. So I would agree that he knew what he was doing, and I think it's great. The kid that's on camera, I think he's going to go places. I think he's going to have a fishing business in his future, and I applaud him for that.
yeah, that's fun to watch.
Yeah, it made me feel real good. So
It reminds me of a time when I don't know how old I was. I was maybe 10 or 11, and we're fishing for perch down at the spot where we used to catfish fish all the time, and we'd catch the perch and go throw them on the bait hook for the catfish while my dad was fishing for those. This was in Texas back before bluegill were a game species, if that gives you any kind of timeline. One time we're fishing in the shallows and something grabs that worm. I'm dealing with like 4 or 6 pound test and just runs with it. And I'm like, my heart started racing and pumping, and I set the hook. I had it on for a second, but it was just too much, and it just broke that line, and off it went. And it's like, this is what we just witnessed is one of those memories where the line doesn't break and they actually get the fish in. And
yeah,
it sticks with you a little bit better whenever that happens. And it turns into something that might last for a lifetime rather than losing the fish and then going, man, fishing's kind of gay.
everything's gay when you're 14. This test is gay. This pencil's gay. This fish is gay. But these kids,
So
I don't think one of them was over 12.
So he likes fish sticks.
I'm not going there. These are just kids being kids, and I think kids that were raised right. One, they were all of them were excited about this fish. Even one of them had his phone in his hand. It was like, oh my god,
dude!
But-
a 30-inch striper is nothing to like shake a stick at.
yeah, no,
Like the last time we were out for striper, I think the biggest one we caught was 8 pounds, and it was nowhere near 30 inches, nowhere close.
yeah.
Like it was maybe like, hold on, let me get, it might have been 22, 23, somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get a 30-inch striper. That's a good fish, man.
That's a good fish.
It's a lot different than a 30-inch stripper. Just saying.
It's way less expensive, I would imagine.
Also,
I mean,
vastly
depends if
different
you're-
videos when you're Googling.
Nearly about as rare, possibly.
it also depends. I mean, if you're paying by the foot, 30 inches is a pretty good deal.
Hey, you owe discount.
You promised me at least a yard.
Well, anyway.
Roden is bringing up taking your
Hello?
kids to the range.
Oh, what the heck?
And man, every time I
Well,
go shoot,
All the audio feed seems to have cut out.
Are you okay?
Can you not hear me?
No. We can, Sam. We can still. Well, whatever. I can still hear
Can you-
Dave.
I guess
you hear
we're
me?
just going to call the show at this point.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah,
we
I'm
can-
waving at you. Could you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Can the chat still hear us?
Well, somebody talk while I figure this out.
Okay,
Hold
well,
it. Nobody
Dave
can
was
hear it because I
talking.
can't hear it.
we're still talking.
All right. Well, we've hit an hour and 41 minutes, so we're going to call it a night.
Good enough.
So, since we are having technical difficulties, at this point, you all ought to be used to it. So, as always, if you want to get some optics to create the world's most horrible optic stack in the world, you can get half of those at Gideon Optics. Coupon affiliate code is moist. Camera affiliate code. If you're going to get some whack camo, let's go hunt. And as always, support the sport and take a buddy hunting. If you like that buddy, tell him about our show. If you don't like him, tell him his mom spearfishes for pigeon. Hit us up at lghpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and let's go hunt. I'm presented with a unique opportunity here.
No,
to
we're
select
presented
the
with
show
a
title
unique
by myself.
opportunity because Sam can't hear us.
Yeah.
This
I
is
prefer
really
beavers
bad.
and
and he's-
Spamland.
He,
Show of
he doesn't
hands,
know what he's
beavers and
talking about.
Spamland.
I really
No,
we're not going to
show a
of
hand
this
about
Sam
anything.
show.
I can't hear
He's
you
not
guys.
going.
Yeah, I
I
know.
can't wait for him to listen to the
It's
end of
totally
it.
Oh,
silent
no.
on my end.
It's going to be great.
Oh,
Oh.
lovely day.
Sam has
Terrible.
AIDS. That's the name of the show.